Hi everyone, welcome back to the next quote of the day. Today's quote is short and sweet and powerful. It's from C.S. Lewis. I think it's stunning in its wisdom and its brevity. Don't let your happiness depend on something you can lose. So, most of us look for happiness outside of ourselves, almost always. So our happiness depends on money, depends on our job. Our happiness depends on the things we own, on our house. Often it depends on another person. It depends on our husband, our wife, our spouse, our friends. It depends on all of these things. But all of those things can be lost. A spouse can be lost, and that will throw you into devastating loss. All the things, your job can be lost. If your happiness depends on things that can be lost in a heartbeat, what will you do if they are? You'll be thrown in despair. Will you endure that? And this all reminds me of Viktor Frankl and the many Viktor Frankl quotes that we've looked at. Because his theory of life is that your happiness should not depend on things that you can lose, but on the meaning and purpose you find in life. Why? Because you can't lose that. Viktor Frankl was a famous Austrian psychiatrist before World War II. During World War II, he was put in the concentration camps. He was in Auschwitz and in other concentration camps. And he tells the story about one of the Jewish men in the camps that he was with. And this was a big man in his local town. He had his PhD. He became famous. A businessman, was wealthy. Was just a man of status, of possessions. And so he was called into the local German Gestapo, and as he stood there before the Gestapo, and he was very, very prideful, and he presented with him with papers. All the Jews had to present their papers, and about his accomplishments in education and business and charity and wealth. This was a man of greatness. And so when it was all done, the German officer looked to him and said, "Is that everything?" And the man smiled and said yes. And he was smug about it because it was a lot. So the German officer took it all and threw it in the trash and said, "Good. Now you are nothing." And he went to Auschwitz, and he died there. Everything that he had based his life on was taken away in a moment. His family, his friends, his everything, money, wealth, status, it meant nothing. In the camps, he wasn't even treated as a human being. They were treated as pigs, as animals. But he became a slave laborer and starved to death and was sick. The lowest degradations of human life were what he found waiting for him there. And so he perished quickly. In his book, Frankl tells us that don't let your happiness depend on anything that can be taken from you, because it may very well be. Don't tempt fate to prove to you that a life based on happiness outside of you is not going to work. What he found was that those who had meaning and purpose, a reason to wake up in the morning, whatever the reason was, endured the camps the longest, the best. So one of the most important lessons I've learned in life is this quote from C.S. Lewis: "Don't let your happiness depend on something you may lose. You need firmer foundation for a life well lived," and I hope you'll find it. And these quotes will allow you to find it as we search more through them. So today, look at your life. What is your happiness based on? Is that enough? Can it be lost? What will come of you if it is lost? So I hope you got something out of this. If you did, come back tomorrow and we'll look at another quote of the day. And I think together we'll build better lives.